I think retail is all that matters. I don't care about institutional adoption. This is about giving billions of people the ability to trade, to invest, to save in a different way. I think crypto solves a problem that they have. They have a messed up currency, lots of inflation, and so the population has gravitated to using a crypto solution. And so why not use a free currency owned by the world that's not controlled by Washington, D.C. or Brussels?
Arthur Hayes believes the future of decentralized finance doesn't rest in the hands of institutional behemoths like JP Morgan or BlackRock. Instead, it lies in the adoption by billions of everyday people. In this video, we'll explore Hayes' powerful insights on why retail adoption is crucial, the economic trends shaping this space, and the DeFi projects paving the way for a financial revolution. Stay tuned, because understanding this could change how you approach crypto forever.
I think retail is all that matters. I don't care about institutional adoption. This is about giving billions of people the ability to trade, to invest, to save in a different way. I don't really care what JP Morgan and BlackRock do. They'll come into the space and they'll have a particular type of product that they use and serve a particular type of client base. That's not what we're focused on. We want to see what are the real retail applications. How do we give more people access to finance? But I guess in DeFi, you have millions of customers, like Uniswap, right? One of the most used DeFi apps makes, I don't know, like $2 billion in fees every year. We want to find things like Uniswap and invest in those. I think that DeFi will eventually become much bigger than CeFi just because it's easier to onboard more people. Once people understand, oh, well, I guess open up my browser, connect my wallet, and now I have all these types of financial products. That for some people is like revolutionary because they don't have a bank account, or they have very, very limited banking services, or the banks that they have are very, very corrupt. And so I think that DeFi will get the long tail of users. Maybe it's not going to be the most used thing in America or Western Europe when you have a banking system that, for the most part works. But for large parts of the world, they don't have that. And so DeFi is, an improvement over the thing that they have. So South Korea is the biggest trading market for crypto. South Korean traders per trader basis are the most active. So that's probably one end of the spectrum. And then you see a lot of activity in places like Turkey and the Philippines. I haven't been in the Philippines recently, but I know that they use a lot of crypto. A lot of NFTs are bought and sold in like Thailand and Indonesia. And there's lots of developers in Vietnam. So there's lots of interesting things going on, especially in the Asia Pacific region where I spend most of my time. So I love Argentina. I go skiing there every year. And what's really interesting about Argentina is the first time I went there in 2018, the peso to the dollar was about 50 or 30 pesos to the dollar. Now it's 1,300 pesos to the dollar. But the ATMs still only give you 40,000 pesos maximum, which now is 40 US dollars. And they charge like a $7 fee. So you can't actually use cash in Argentina to do anything because the banks make it very difficult to use it. So what do people do? They use USDT and Tether. So it's very interesting. I paid for my house, my guide, everything in Tether, just sending people money on either the Tron or ERC20 networks. So I think crypto solves a problem that they have. They have a messed up currency, lots of inflation, and so the population has gravitated to using a crypto solution. I don't think it's that obvious to some. Looking at this conference in Singapore, 20,000 tickets this year, 10,000 last year, we're seeing more interest around the world for crypto, and so I think it's bigger. What does that mean in terms of which tokens are popular? I don't know, but at least we have more eyeballs on the ecosystem. Obviously over here in Asia Pacific, I use mostly fiat. And obviously I want to spend fiat and save crypto as much as I can. But where it makes sense, like places like Argentina, where, using a credit card or a bank wire isn't going to work, I use crypto. I think it needs to get easier. It's still too hard for most people. They don't like remembering long passwords and stuff like that. I think it really will depend on how we bring culture on chain. So how do we make it so that somebody wants to learn about crypto? Maybe it's meme coins, maybe it's an NFT, maybe it's their favorite, creator has launched their own coin, so they're a fan, they're gonna figure out how to use a wallet and get it that way. I think it's fun. I wouldn't say it's investing, I'd say more gambling. Can I predict what is the next trend or follow the trend and get off the train before it crashes? I think it's like gambling. It's a lot of fun. It's very social. You get to interact with the community. There's also lots of culture around it, and it's very crypto-centric. So that's why I gamble in meme coins. Have I made some money? A little bit, but it's more for fun. Absolutely. I think for lots of people, it's fun. It's a fun activity as more and more sort of right now we have C-list, B-list celebrities who are issuing these coins, as people realize, the creators realize that they can make a lot of money doing this, you're going to see a higher quality of celebrity doing meme coins or these token drops or what have you. And you're going to get more and more people interested in them. So I think we just started. Yes, it was like, a peak and then a trough, but everything's a cycle. It'll come back.
The future of crypto, as Arthur Hayes passionately explains, hinges not just on the involvement of institutional giants like JP Morgan and BlackRock, but on the billions of everyday people embracing it for trading, investing, and saving. Hayes emphasizes that mass retail adoption is the key to unlocking the true potential of decentralized finance, DeFi, and reshaping the global financial system. Projects like Uniswap, with low valuations, clear narratives, and strong teams, represent the kind of innovation needed to drive this transformation. Stay with us till the end as we delve into Hayes' sharp insights on how economic trends, infrastructure projects, and the power of retail investors are coming together to redefine the future of crypto, and why understanding this shift is essential for everyone.
So I think at the end of the day, the US economy is very strong. The government's spending a lot of money, and the Fed wants to cut rates while the government is spending all this money. It doesn't make any sense. And so I think it's very inflationary. I think the market's going to realize that. And then when that happens, bond yields, especially 10-year treasury bond yields, will rise, and that'll cause a short-term market correction. Also, I believe that reducing the differential between dollar rate and the yen rate will cause the yen to strengthen. We saw the yen carry trade unwind a few months ago in late July, early August, and with that impact on financial markets, as the Fed cuts rates, yen strengthens, that's negative for financial markets. So we'll see this weekend what happens. I think Bitcoin's, traded quite strong. It's like 63,000 or something. Oh, 64, there we go. But I think we'll see what happens over the weekend. Can Bitcoin maintain these gains, or is the market going to switch its thinking on whether or not a Fed in a cutting cycle, given the level of government spending, given the level of inflation, it's above their 2% target. We'll see. I don't know. Well, I think, they've gone down a bit, but now if you can invest in treasury bills, it used to yield 5.5%. Now they yield 5 to 4%, right? So if that keeps going down, then everyone who's earning all this money just sitting on bonds is going to have to do something with it, and that's something I think will be partially crypto, maybe gold, maybe real estate. And so as these assets are not earning this income, they're going to move out into other assets of fixed supply, like crypto. Again, I think that was expected by the market, the BOJ to hold. We'll see what the market believes about the Fed and its future path. I think I was reading yesterday that people expect a rate cut in November now, and that's so is that aggressive enough to force people who have borrowed yen to cover their trades and sell the assets that were financed? I don't know. We'll see. That's my bet, at least in the short term. But in the long term, I do believe in money printing. The U.S. government, every other major government, needs to print money to make their population feel happy, and that's going to benefit crypto. I think a lot of the ETF flows were driven by hedge funds like Millennium, who are putting on a basis trade. So they buy the ETF and they sell the futures contract on the CME. We'll see if their holdings change in the next disclosures, and I think it's a 13F by the SEC, and whether or not these funds have decreased their exposure because the basis or the interest rate has gone down on these trades, and that will reveal what the true demand is for these products. I think it's TBD right now, but over time, as a marketing machine kicks in for BlackRock and these large financial institutions and getting the RIAs out there pitching this stuff, you'll see more inflows, but it's just going to take longer than people think. So right now, I'm still believe that we're in a bull market. There's going to be more money printing globally, and so my core bags of Bitcoin and ETH, I'm not selling. I might trade around the position a small bit by taking a tactical short here and there, but I'm long. And then in the altcoin portfolio at Maelstrom, we're obviously long only sort of investors. We will start liquidating things when it makes sense, but right now we believe we're still in the early stages of the bull market. I guess it depends on what you bought. If you bought Bitcoin in March of 2023 in the US banking crisis, you're up 3x. If you bought some new coin, altcoin or shitcoin that gets listed, maybe you're down 95%. So it really depends on what you purchase, but the aggregate value of all of crypto has still increased over the last 12 to 18 months. So I believe we're still in a bull market, but again, it depends on what you bought. I think it's interesting that a developing country like El Salvador has sort of broken away from the traditional advice that they're given on how to manage their country and gone with this Bitcoin approach. And so it's given an idea to other countries, hey, you don't have to follow what the IMF and the World Bank tell you. Here's an example of doing something different. Maybe it's better for your population not to follow these rules. So I think it's great. I think we'll see more sort of like less wealthy countries doing it because they've seen that over the last 50 or 60 years, the advice that they're given by the Americans and the Europeans is not good advice. It's not in their best interest. And so why not use a free currency owned by the world that's not controlled by Washington, D.C. or Brussels? Well, it depends on what you sell it for. So if Bitcoin goes up in dollar terms, I agree with you. You've just earned more fiat if you're just going to sell Bitcoin. But let's say that Bitcoin goes up massively versus oil or uranium or natural gas, then maybe if you've accumulated enough Bitcoin, you can actually go and buy a power plant on the cheap. I don't know. I believe we can get to $1 million end of the cycle, $1 million. By the end of 2024, I think we'll be at $100,000 for Bitcoin, because the amount of money that's going to be printed is going to be absolutely insane, as every government around the world does the same thing, which is print money to make people feel happy because the global growth is slowing. I think that we're in a transition period of a global financial system. We're going to change it. The elites will resist the change, which means they're going to print a lot of money, more money than that's ever been printed, because they don't want the post-World War II US hegemony to change. And that's why, I believe. And I think now is the time for this to happen. Depends on where you're from. If you're in somewhere like Argentina, yes, Bitcoin, or Nigeria, like places or Turkey, yeah, Bitcoin is a hedge against inflation and store of value. If you're in a place that has a more stable currency, then maybe it's more about speculation.
Arthur Hayes has painted a compelling picture of what's needed for crypto to thrive. A world where billions of individuals, not just institutions, participate in the financial revolution. His focus on retail adoption and economic trends serves as a powerful reminder of the potential within this space. If you're serious about understanding the future of finance, Hayes' message is one you can't afford to ignore. Share your thoughts in the comments, and let's continue the conversation on how we can all be part of this transformation.